coming up on the season opener for the Faith Girls Cafe, the girls are talking sex education for Christian women, how to maintain holy relationships, and those juicy late night phone conversations that you know you're not supposed to be having. Stay tuned for more from the Faith Girl.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Faith Girls Cafe. This episode is going to be super juicy.
Yeah.
Let's just say hi everyone. So just
Hi.
Hello. So you guys know everyone. AJ,
Yeah.
Lena, me, Jelaine, Andrea. So yeah. So today's topic is one that I think is going to get a lot of people thinking. It is, guys, you ready?
Yeah.
Drum roll. The topic is sex, lust and social media.
Oof. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. So what were we guys thinking so far?
I mean, sex, lust, and social media. That's a lot right there.
I agree.
Yeah, but I feel like when I go on social media, all I see is sex.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of it. I feel like it's that place where everybody's flaunting their body and all the brands are advertising and they know sex sells. So every advert is like something to do with sex. And for a person who ain't having no sex, social media can sometimes be difficult. Is all I'm saying. Yeah, it can be difficult because I ain't having no sex, and you know.
Yeah. No, I think it is. The topic itself is quite, like, come on, we're Christians. Let's talk about sex. We're not talking about sex. That word is taboo. It's a swear word, guys.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about it.
And that's bad.
I think so.
Bad. I feel. Why is that though? Because I mean, I don't understand why people want to deny that God made sex and that it's just a part of life. We have a fly in the studio. I don't know why. I don't understand. Like, what is that? Why do you girls think people think sex is so taboo? I mean, like, I understand that we say it as young Christian women who are not married. Hopefully, we shouldn't be having any sex. But why does that mean that we totally 100% shut it out of our lives?
Because we're Christian women, we shouldn't be having sex.
Yeah.
if you don't say the word, then you won't want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's
that's what most people think anyway.
It's the fear of what will come after. Just do you know what I mean? Talk about it. What we think about it. It's wrong.
Yeah.
What the Bible say about it. And I think even as a child, it's been ingrained. Don't have sex before marriage. So the word even or lust. We haven't talked about lust as well. It's just such a topic that, as a church, as youth, we're just so adverse to talk about.
Sex, I think, is maybe there's a fear in it, like maybe, I don't know, I think when you come from the world and you have your own perceptions on what sex is, or the liberty you feel you have towards that, and then you come as a Christian and it's very different, and different people have different reasons why they don't feel very comfortable with talking about it. Some people feel it's a temptation, which is very real, or some people just think, staying away from it is the best way I manage it, which is good. At least you know yourself, you have that insight. Whereas other people are more open to talk about it, but then at the same time, to what extent should you encourage it?
So then are we saying totally stay away from it is the solution? Because I feel like, I mean, while you're single, totally staying away from it might be the best option. But then once I mean, I don't know how you can go from 0 to 100. So today I'm single, sex is non-existent. Tomorrow I'm married, I have to do it. Just like, I mean, I think maybe certain kind of conversations don't have. You get to do it, exactly, yeah. But I think certain conversations don't have. But I think sometimes it can be educational to talk about sex. And like, it's okay to say, I'm a woman, I have feelings, I want to educate myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that it's comfortable to go from never ever talking about it to all of a sudden finding yourself in the place where, okay, I'm having sex. Not only do I not know what it is, but I feel uncomfortable with the concept of having sex. And I think that's really bad. When we shut it down 100%, we're almost not prepared for the reality of it. And then you find like you get married and you hate it because in your mind it's been associated with bad for so long that you're like,
I think practically, not in fact, theoretically, that's they talk about it. But for me, I know being real, practically, to talk about it for me is like, it's just you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
a bit
but see,
too much.
okay, see that I think that's when it becomes a thing of what kind of conversation are you having
Yeah,
about it?
fair
Do you
enough,
understand?
fair
Because
enough.
certain conversations, you, like, girl, don't do that to yourself because you know this conversation is gonna have you
Yeah,
in your
get you,
feelings,
yeah.
and then you're gonna go home and suffer because you can't have nobody to scratch this itch and like don't do that to yourself. But I think like be open. Okay, maybe not be open to it because I feel like sex is one of those ones where if you're open to it, then you're
You're
doing
gonna fall,
it.
you're gonna fall,
Yeah. So I think it's hard to find the
Find
balance.
the balance.
Mm.
Okay, guys, so I've got something interesting for you guys.
Mhm.
It's the white bowl. I think that's what we're going to call it. The
The
white
white
bowl.
ball, of course.
So in here, there are a couple questions. Just take a pick of one. We'll go around. We'll do this orderly.
Okay.
And basically just tell us what it says.
Okay.
Anyone want to go first?
I'll go.
All right. Go on, Nana. Is that the one?
Okay. How would you define a holy relationship?
Wow.
What do you guys think? How would you define a holy
Is there
relationship?
such a thing as a holy relationship?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I mean, the question I'm trying to ask is, are we supposed to be in relationships? As in, you know, because modern definitions of dating and all of that stuff, are they okay? Because in the Bible, like, you know, I don't know, but it feels like, you know, your parents did the arranged marriage thing, and, you know, most couples didn't know each other until they met, like,
Yeah.
before the wedding, like, immediately before the wedding, and then it was, I don't know, did they even have courtships back then? What is courtship?
So that's the
I ask
question.
this
It's
question
just-
all the time.
Isn't it not
Getting to know another person with the intention of
marriage?
Marriage.
Yeah.
So it's like dating, but you know you're gonna marry the person.
Yeah. I think it's the stage after dating.
Okay.
Or, yeah. Like, when I think of courting somebody, I think that, you know, we met the parents, we are progressing to
Okay.
something.
Mhm.
We know everyone, like, might not be together as a relationship, but everyone knows that this is just Zane's person, this person is just Zane's, and they're going to get married.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's courtship. All right.
So you could be in a courtship and not even know.
To be honest,
Well, that's
are
what
you
it
in
is.
a courtship?
I feel like
Because
there's
some
things
people
we
call
still-
it courtship. Some people call dating. No, some people, the minute they get together, they call it courtship
Courtship.
instead of dating, isn't it?
Okay.
So
Well,
I thought that this is what I thought. I thought that, you know, Christians define courtship as the Christian way.
That's what I
And
thought.
Yeah.
then dating
Dating is
is
the
the
second
worldly
way.
way.
Yeah.
And then, so, I don't know, I just think dating, there's nothing, I don't know, it's how you make it, but I know courtship involves, there are a lot of people that you are accountable to.
Okay.
It involves a lot of family members, spiritual leaders, mentors, or whatever else. Not even just saying, yeah, this is my boyfriend and I'm introducing you to, it's this is what we're thinking about doing, we're considering one another, and then you just go around and you investigate the character of this person investigates the character of you, and you are intentionally getting to know the real stuff. So not all I feel like dating, well, the perception that I've gathered from dating just by hearing and reading about it, it's you go straight to the googly eye part, you know, hand linking and everything, even though it's so hard not to do that.
Yeah.
But then I feel like courtship is very objective, and then the googly eye part comes closer to the engagement stage. That's just how I see it. But courtship, it involves a lot of people. It's very
Focus.
Yeah.
Working towards the marriage kind of.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
It's weird though, because I've seen the same term used in different relationships, but all the relationships were done very differently. So a lot of people have said we're in courtship, but then not everyone strictly follows like that guideline. So
Yeah.
not everyone has all of these accountability partners and stuff like
Okay.
that, but they
Okay,
still
cool,
call it
cool.
courtship. So I
Okay.
don't know.
Right. So holy relationship.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of boundaries, for example, do you think how do we keep a relationship holy? So firstly, should we establish what is a holy?
What is a
How
holy
do you make
relationship?
a
Yeah.
relationship holy? Because it can be a struggle. to be in a relationship.
I would say like having God in the relationship.
Yeah.
But then I mean I can't say practically how that will work. Like I mean for me, I would think if I was in a relationship with a guy, it would be like keeping God at the center of who we are individually, but also as at the center of everything that we're sharing together. So just be God focused in our lives in such a way that when we come together to share, because we're just God focused people, what we're sharing is God focused.
Yeah.
And if at any point in time we see ourselves crossing the line, because I think you kind of know when you know this is no longer God focused. So I think if you keep God at the focus on it and you check yourself and make sure you're not crossing any lines, I would say that's a holy relationship. And then I think not just physically as well, but also in your mind, because you know physically we might not be kissing, but we're thinking the wrong thoughts, we're having the wrong kind of conversations. Yeah. So just because we're not doing stuff physically doesn't make it holy if our minds are in the wrong place, I would say.
Back of AJ, basically, I think a holy relationship is making sure that it's pleasing to God. Not crossing boundaries that you know would test the water, that would bring, you know, any sort of lust or any sort of, what's what I'm looking for?
Situations.
Anything that's contrary to God's word and His will. I think that's what, for me, that's what a holy relationship is.
I'm quite interested because I do think, okay, now I'm going to look like the bad one, but I think I think obviously like if in the concept of how Drea says relationship, where you have like your accountability partners, your pastors involved, your friends all holding you accountable, I don't know, I think you can have a lot of people watching over your relationships, and in that case it makes it perhaps a bit not as challenging. But I do think when two people are there, I think temptation is real. I think it's definitely going to happen and it's going to be there. And I feel the concept of holiness is one thing, the practice of it is completely different. So I think, how do we, you know, in those moments where, you know, like what you said, we have God, we both are God friends, we both love the Lord, but then, I don't know, what do you put in place, so practically, the practical steps you're taking to make sure your relationship is pleasing to God? Because for me, I know in the times when I have like been in a relationship, the temptation is very real. And I think it's one thing when you are that single Christian and you're like, I know this is what the word says, and it's completely different when you're like, you hear your friends not in a relationship and you're like, girl, why are you struggling with that? We're Christians. And then you stepped into it and you're like, ooh, I never knew I could have these desires and all these things, and it's not even the other person like, yo, this is coming from me, this is coming from my heart, this is what I want to do. And so how have you
dealt with it?
Sorry,
just threw it back in your face.
I don't know. The thing is, I can't say that I've dealt with it perfectly. I think there are times where I think the only best thing to do is to run away. Like I literally
That's literally one thing, because I mean I haven't been in a relationship since like forever, but I feel like the way to deal with it would be to just leave the room. You understand? Like, I mean, I know maybe that's not the best way to handle it, but I think if I find myself in that situation where, because, you know, sometimes you can just be like, you know what, we can just sit here and not do nothing. And then sometimes we going to be sitting here and, you know what I'm saying? So when you just pick up your bag.
And I think the most even the just leaving, I think, can be quite a difficult thing.
Really?
Because leaving, when you want, it's a dying to yourself. So this is what you want to do. You want to stay. And then this is what the Bible wants you to do. So it's a very big thing. So it's not even like, oh, you know, we're both feeling this. I'm out. You know, it's not like that.
I can do that there.
Maybe it's not even that.
I mean, you know, I think I'm just talking, like, because I haven't been in that situation. I'm single,
but I feel like when you are in it, it's like, I'm sorry,
gotta get it.
But sometimes I do feel that's what I found is that sometimes you have to be really harsh, and it's going to sound mean sometimes, but it's going to be like, yo, like, I have to put my foot down, like, this ain't happening, or you're not coming today, I'm sorry, or you can't come around, because I'm honest with how I'm feeling, or I know what's brewing inside me. But I do think, like Jackie Hill Perry said, accountability as well only goes so far. Really, you can only be accountable if you let yourself be accountable. Like, you can have an accountability partner, but the extent of what you share is dependent on you. So whether accountability even works is down to you. So I just feel like it's such a tempting thing in a relationship, whereas when people are in one, it's a completely different ballgame. So I'm so interested in what everybody wants to. How would you do it?
I think the one thing sounds good, as I said, it is
Temptation fleeting.
But I think also
It sounds so weak. I'm sorry. I don't know what else.
I think that was the only plan I had. I didn't have any other plans, and I'm like, what am I gonna do?
It will work for the first month, and then it's like,
Just the first
what
one.
are we doing?
There's something else.
Yeah,
isn't it?
And like I think for me, when I like thinking back to experiences, it has been difficult. It has been difficult. I think I've done the whole, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go now. I have done that. I've done the whole, and I think what's important also is listening to conviction that comes. I have had such convictions and have listened to them, and I've had convictions where I've just been like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And when you don't listen to it, is when you're gonna fall into trouble. So definitely listen to. I think practically listen to conviction, because it does come. When you know you're not meant to be there.
Listen, the Holy Spirit is not silent. Like, I feel like when I speak for myself, because when I get in trouble with certain things, I can never say it's because God didn't guide me.
No.
Like, the Holy Spirit is very clear, and He knows how you may see it as the most innocent situation. He knows when the most innocent situations are going to end not very innocently, right?
Yeah.
And He will prompt you at the start of that, or even before you get into that innocent situation. And you're like, but we're just going to the movies, Lord. Like, why are you tripping? Or what's wrong? I'm just going. Why can't we just go watch the film? And you know, because you're just seeing in your reality, like, meanwhile, God knows how this is going to end. If you've taken this. And then meanwhile, so when I do listen, and it's like, okay, you feel like, okay, I've avoided something. When I don't, at the end, I'm always like, oh gosh, God is always right. You know, so I totally understand. Because you cannot listen to conviction.
I remember there was a pastor that came to speak to us at Pensa in Portsmouth, and he's called Pastor Sher, and he said, I think he said something like, don't test your I can't remember the exact words, but it was so real. It was like, basically, don't test your limits. Does that make sense? Because when you will lose.
Yes.
There's
My
no
friend
way.
told me the one getting married, she said, don't test the devil, because he will show you your weaknesses, and then your weaknesses will defeat you. Like, literally, especially if you get to that place of pride where you think, look, I'm good at this. You know what? You could be speaking in tongues a few minutes before, and the person comes.
That's not even relationship. That's just your mind on your own. Like, oh yes, thank you, Jesus. Wait, what now?
Yeah.
Listen, because one thought will just flash out of nowhere, and even that is hard. So I can imagine with another person in the picture, it's like.
And I think to me, I think what I'm struggling with is recognizing my need. If you have someone maybe that's, I don't know, very strong, I don't know, and they're able to say no, or rebuke you, or it's good. I think it's a good thing. You know, whereas I think once I was with that, they started off very very much, Lena, no, Lena, stop.
That's not the way they
exactly, that weakens, because they need someone that's going to say no, and they need someone that's going to, and so if it's consistent, it's like the no, okay. No, no. And then what? And then you guys are both in a place where it's like, okay, everything's permissible. Yeah. But it's so challenging. Wow. So I'm quite interested to hear.
How about just having a long distance relationship?
To be honest,
I was thinking,
but then,
pack my stuff. But what would happen in a long distance relationship?
Okay, phone conversation.
We're actually on telephones right now. So some people, I personally have. Here's a story.
Okay.
If you watch this, I'm sorry, but I had a friend that we got. Okay, just say what's necessary.
Know of someone.
Yeah, I know of someone, and they had very strict phone-bound curfews, right? And it was very much, you can't call me past 10. I don't want to talk to you about 10 o'clock. And I feel like, okay, sometimes they do that when they're in relationships, like, oh, we can't talk to you after 10 because we're really good friends. But then when the relationships end, it's like, okay, everything's not permissible. You're like texting me on 12. Okay, so to me, I never understood certain things. Like, I have some friends that wouldn't go in like a house with females if it's just females, or wouldn't answer the phone. Some really strict guys that put really strict boundaries in place. So do you guys have any of that, or do you think it's necessary, or do you think it works or it helps? Or?
What do you think?
Do you have any phone boundaries?
Or any other boundaries?
Or any other boundaries?
Girl, we all know about the phone.
Yeah, the
To be
phone.
honest.
Tell the phone thing.
The phone boundary. I don't make or take calls past 10, but I still message and stuff past 10. That's not a problem for me. It's just, past 10 o'clock, voices change.
Damn.
Voices change.
Voices change.
Well, people schizophrenic. What?
Literally, it becomes a baritone.
It becomes a deep
She
baritone.
said, "Are people schizophrenic?" No,
People schizophrenic.
Voices changing.
babe.
You like this every day. 12 to 12, you like this.
If I'm calling at 12.
When I'm speaking.
Well,
Wow.
you're that age, why are you calling me at 12? But if other people call you at 12.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yes.
Voices change past 10 o'clock, and I know in the past I've given out too much information. I've gotten too. It's like, I don't know, something happens at midnight.
You're in bed, you're relaxed.
Your guards
You
are
lay
down.
Yeah.
And you wake up in the morning, you don't remember anything you said. Because you should have been sleeping. And it's like, oh yeah, babe, I'm thinking about you too. Then it's the, what are you wearing? Oh, hell no.
Oh, yes. That's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, sip that, honey. Because it's real.
What are you wearing?
The full armor of God. Have you seen like, yeah,
I love
that's what I'm wearing. Come here. I'll greet you with the breastplate of righteousness.
She said, "Come here."
I got the belt of truth, honey.
Oh, Lord,
I
yeah.
love that.
But you know, the thing about phone boundaries, though, is I feel like if I was in a relationship, I'm working all day. The only time we can talk is nights. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's for me. I think phone boundaries are personal. I don't think there should be any book that says and
10 o'clock, yeah.
10 steps to ensuring that the man love you for life. Number one, you better ensure that he can call you person. I don't think that should be made a law.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be made a law. Like, if you have it, then you have it, and you have your story as to why you have it. Because obviously, you've probably had experiences in the past where you, because this is safety for yourself, not so a man could be like, yeah, I'm putting that in place so he can see that I'm valuable. For me, that's not why I put the because I would happily talk to a guy that I like past 10 o'clock up until the morning, because that's what I used to do. But then I saw that that's not safe. You end up saying more things. You end up growing emotionally attached to this guy without even knowing whether he's been in prison before, he's going to assassinate your whole family.
Oh, wow.
But because
I'll do that.
That's kind of need to know.
I've known that before.
But what I'm saying is that this is the boundaries are not. I feel like sometimes boundaries can be put in place for like fashion. Or
Let me tell you,
It's what's trending.
Or
Yeah.
to appear more holy. You know what?
Yeah,
Like,
so I don't think
a lot of things can be done for the appearance of holiness,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, like, I think it's good, like you said, to guard your heart, and God knows I really want to do that more. But I feel like before, because I didn't know how to do Christian relationships, right? Because all I knew was the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, you read all these books and they like, make sure you have this, make sure you have that. So initially when I got in a relationship, I asked if the person I was they would testify. I had laws, I had rules. But these were all just things I was just doing. It's not I didn't feel convicted about any of them. So this is why it was harder to keep and maintain it, because I didn't feel like it was just what I was doing. For like almost just for sure, or just to make sure he sees that. But it didn't work. But I think if you know yourself, if I know like past 10 and certain conversations start getting me, you start leading questions and you're not very clear, and then we're all doing this guessing thing, then I could just say, I don't want to do that with you.
What are you saying, babe? Nah, what are you saying? Nah, what you saying? I'm not saying anything. Get off my phone.
You've been there so long, and I don't know. I like face-to-face conversations. Like, I could sit there and stare at you all day and just ask you so many questions.
In part 2, the ladies are talking about being in your feelings, online dating, and how to wait. Plus, we have an amazing beauty box to give away to one of you guys. So stay tuned.